Coming up, the battle to build the Prosperity Mine. Should the $1 billion gold and copper mine go ahead? That's next. This is Province columnist Mike Smyth in for Bill today. Let's talk now about the Prosperity Mine. A federal review panel hit the road this week as it travels to communities in the area of the mine proposed by Taseko Mines. I know we got a lot of people listening in the BC interior today, so I look forward to your calls on the open line after the first break, because this is a project that has inspired a lot of controversy. A gold and copper mine, a $1 billion project. So we're talking about a huge project near Williams Lake. Should this mine be allowed to go ahead? You may recall that this one was really raging a few years ago when the mine was first proposed. One of the most controversial aspects of the project was a proposal to drain a lake, Fish Lake, and use it as a tailings pond for the mine. And the company proposed to build another lake, essentially a man-made lake, to replace it. The federal government, the federal review panel, gave a thumbs down to this mine a few years ago. The provincial government said, you can go ahead with it. So the feds and the province divided on this thing. Now the company has come back with a new proposal. They say they will preserve Fish Lake, and they will spend $300 million to mitigate the impacts of the mine on wildlife and habitat in the area. We've got both sides of it for you. Mitch Campsall is here, the mayor of 100 Mile House. He supports the project. Hey, Mitch.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on. And also on the line, Ervin Charleyboy, the former chief of the Alexis Creek First Nation, regional director for the Fraser Basin Council. He supports it too. Hey, Ervin.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on, guys. Let me go to you first, Mitch. Why do you support the project?
Well, again, you got to look at the facts. That we do support it, but we also support it. And as speaking as a mayor, I make the comment that I'm speaking for council. The fact is, we support it, but they've got to look after the concerns of the First Nations, and they've also got to look after the environmental concerns. And once those are taken care of, then our council and myself will support this 100%. But they've got to deal with these issues, and they got to deal with these concerns. And so that's how we're supporting it, and we'll support it that way. I mean, it's good for our community. It's going to create some jobs. It's going to create business. So it's good, especially with the downturn of the logging. Of course, we can't say the downturn of the logging, but the logging industry is going to be turning down here probably in the next 3 to 4 years. We're going to lose some of it. So we need some other stuff to get up and running, and this is just one of them. But again, we've got to be very cautious. The fact is that we do look after the environment, and we look after our First Nations, and we're working really hard. I have to say one thing about the Caribou is the governments, whether it be First Nations or municipal or regional governments, are all looking at working together, and we've got to stay as a community working together on this.
Okay, I love the Caribou and the Chilcotin, beautiful parts of our province, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the economy has really been hit there, especially with the mountain pine beetle and the impact on the logging industry. Ervin, let me go back to Ervin Charleyboy now. Ervin, what do you think of this project? Why do you support it? Because I've heard a lot of complaints about this from First Nations.
Yeah, I was really totally against that prosperity because they're going to drain Fish Lake when I was a chief up to prior to 2010. But now I'm retired, and Taseko is coming at it from a different. They're not going to drain Fish Lake, and I think environmentally, I think it'll be safe because that's why I support it, because I was totally against that mine and when I was a chief, because they were going to drain Fish Lake. But environmentally, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. And like Mitch is saying, we got to talk with First Nations people. But all I hear is there's no consultation. But who's going to consult with you when you don't want to talk? They're not talking with the TCQ Mines nor the government. And I know that for a fact.
Okay, Ervin, you're the former chief of the Alexis First Creek Nation, but I know that there are First Nations leaders now who are very outspoken in the region saying, hell no to this mine. What do you say to them? Are First Nations divided on this issue?
Yeah, there's a lot of division on that, and some of I know for a fact one of the chiefs was going to go with the Gibraltar mines, but they went against him too, so he dropped that. And with me, I mean, I support it, and look what they did to me. I'm completely ostracized in the nation, and they don't talk to me.
Let me go back to Mitch Campsall, the mayor of 100 Mile House. Mitch, this is a huge project. You're talking about a $1 billion mine. The original proposal, as former Chief Charleyboy just said, was to drain a lake and turn it into a tailings pond. I mean, this is something just amazing that when people hear this. What? You're going to drain a lake and turn it into a tailings pond? I mean, no wonder people were upset about it. But now the company is saying, no, we're going to leave that. Fish Lake is the name of the lake. We're going to leave Fish Lake alone. And what are they going to do now? Where are they going to put the tailings now under this proposal?
From what I understand, what I've seen in the proposals, it's quite a ways away from the lake. I know there's going to be lots of concerns, and when you're talking about mines or anything of this scope and this large amount, you're going to have some issues. You're going to have some concerns, and again, and the environmental people are worried about stuff that is unproven, that they're going to be using systems and stuff like that. But again, we've got to get provincial, federal, First Nations, all to the table, and to people talking and making sure there's got to be a way to make it work. I mean, I look at everything. Yeah, I don't say no to everything and no to or yes to everything, but we need to work together. We need to find a solution to make this work. And I guess this is where I look at it. There's got to be a solution. There's got to be a way to make this work. And again, everybody's got to be sitting at the table working on this because it's good for our communities.
How many jobs are we talking about here?
I'm not positive on the exact numbers, but we're talking hundreds and hundreds of jobs.
Okay, well, let me just run down some numbers here for you. Taseko Mines is talking about 700 jobs during the 2-year construction phase of the mine, 550 high-paying direct jobs at the mine, 1,280 indirect jobs. So that's a lot of jobs, Ervin Charleyboy. What kind of impact would that have on the region there?
Well, I think it'll give the country a boost. I mean, look at all the spin-offs that'll create, and we need a whole bunch of training for our younger people because the mining, like Mitch said, is going down. I mean, the logging is going down, and we don't have very many years of logging in this country. And what do we have after logging? We got nothing. No employment for young people. No future for our younger people. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. That's my concern, is these young people that don't have anything.
Okay, thank you, Ervin. Let me go back to Mitch for just a second. Mitch, just in a minute, and then I'm going to speak to an official with the Sierra Club of BC, and it may not surprise you that they're opposed to the mine. What is your message to people as they're trying to figure out where they stand on this thing? I mean, they're hearing two very stark messages. We need the jobs. We need the investment. On the other side, hey, it's not worth the risk. It's too damaging to the environment. What do you say to people on it? What's your main message to people?
Are you talking
Mitch.
to me?
Yes, I am, Mitch.
Oh, okay. Well, my message is there's got to be a way there's got to be a solution. And, I get tired of people saying no solution, not in my backyard. Let's send it down to South America where there's abuses of people and people are dying in the process for this type of stuff. Let's have it in our backyard. We want the metals. We want the iron, but we don't want it in our backyard. I have a real issue with that. But I also say there's got to be a way to make it work. And again, we can't be sitting on the fence saying, well, there is no way, or yes, this is the only way. We've got to sit down and talk about and say, yeah, there is a way. We need to sit down and figure out how do we make it work.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for coming on. That is Mitch Campsall. He's the mayor of 100 Mile House. Ervin Charleyboy, former chief of the Alexis Creek First Nation. They both support the Prosperity Mine. I'm going to speak to someone who's against the project in just a moment. But in the meantime, let's get the phone calls going here. Phone me up. If you followed this story, it's been turned down once by the federal government. The company's come back and said, okay, we won't drain that lake. We'll spend $300 million to mitigate impact on the environment. Should we let this $1 billion mine go ahead now in the BC interior? Phone me. Have your say. 604-280-9898 is the number to call. Toll free all around BC. 1-877-399-9999. 9898 star 9898 on your cell. Your call's next. Welcome back. Talking about the proposed Prosperity Mine by Vancouver's Taseko Mining. Proposed near Williams Lake. It's a huge project. $1 billion gold and copper mine in the BC interior. And it's got a lot of people talking. Very controversial. It was turned down earlier by the federal government as a result of an environmental review. The company has come back with a new proposal now that they say protects the environment. They want the mine to go ahead. But a lot of people speaking out on it. Have your say. Phone me. Tell me what you think. 604-280-9898 is the number to call me. Star 9898 on your cell. Let's check in with Anna Simeon now, Acting Communications Director, Sierra Club of BC. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, thanks for coming. It's Mike, actually. That's okay. Let me tell you, I know you heard my earlier interview with Mitch Campsall, the mayor of 100 Mile House, and Ervin Charleyboy. What do you think about that? Because they're saying, look, we need the jobs. This area of the province has been hit hard by the mountain pine beetle and the downturn in logging. They need jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll come back to that in a minute. I just wanted to set the record straight a little bit about the project itself. And you might use the word amazing about the previous project that was floated that would have a drained fish lake. And it is indeed amazing. And this new project is even more amazing in a really funny sense. The fish lake would not be drained. It would be surrounded by an open pit mine, would be unusable for the local First Nations and anybody else for the next 30 years. And because there's 80,000 genetically unique rainbow trout in it, they're proposing to put the lake on a life support system and have a recirculating water system in it in perpetuity, which is quite unproven. And you're right, we oppose this particular mine very vigorously and strenuously, and we are in good company. In the hearings so far, both the Provincial Ministry of Energy and Mines and DFO, Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans, NRCan and Environment Canada officials have all had very negative things to say about this second project.
Yeah, but a lot of the negativity, hasn't it been addressed by the company? Originally, they were going to drain that lake, essentially turn it into a tailings pond. They were going to build another man-made lake, I guess, to replace it. But now they're saying they're going to keep the lake going.
Yeah, that's right. But what I'm talking about is the comments that both Department of Fisheries and Oceans and Provincial Ministry of Mines are inputting into this current hearings about this mine, this new mine, and they're saying that it's an unproven, entirely experimental recirculation life support scheme, that there are few, if any, examples of lake recirculation at the scale proposed by the proponent anywhere in the world. It's a high level of uncertainty. The proponent has underestimated the potential impacts of the project on water quality, and the Natural Resources Canada especially thinks that the tailings pond seepage has been underestimated by a factor of 11 times in what the company's new project is.
Okay. Let's see what people think about it on the open line. Call me up and tell me what you think. 604-280-9898, 1-877-399-9898, toll free, and star 9898 on your cell phone. Let's go to Lavinia. Hi. What do you think?
I think they should make up a decision, and I'm actually for it. I am from Chilcotin area. I'm from Anaheim. Lived off reserve my whole life, and I've learned and I've taught my kids to listen, and that's just my final comment. Whatever the outcome is, I think it's for the people, better for the area, better for the economy, and just on a positive note, we're all learning here. That's all I really have to say.
Okay, Anna. She says, look, they need the job. The economy's been really hit in this area.
Well, if you're looking for job creation, mining is actually the last industry under BC stats in terms of employment. Currently, it employs 12,000 people province-wide, and it's worth about $10 billion, the whole industry as a whole. If you contrast this to nature-based tourism, it employs 30,000 people. It's worth only $1.5 billion. So that means that 6 times for every dollar of revenue in nature-based tourism, which doesn't even include fishing lodges and recreational fisheries, for every dollar of revenue, you get 6 times more jobs in that area than you would in resource extraction.
Why can't you have both, though? Why is it always an either-or proposition? The Caribou-Chilcotin is a massive area. You're talking about one lake here with 700 jobs to construct the mine, 550 permanent jobs, 1,280 indirect jobs. I mean, you could have this mine and still have your tourism.
Williams Lake already has 2, in the Williams Lake area there is 2, currently 2 mines that seem to be operating just nicely. Recently the mayor of Williams Lake talked a lot about the need to diversify the economic pie, and mines are notoriously boom and bust industry, so you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. There is many more options, and indeed the Chilcotin are pursuing them. They have done their homework and done their land use plans, and they have looked at their land and looked at where mines could go, where mines couldn't go, where other resource development, sustainable forestry, value-added wood products, lodges, and so on could go, so that it's a balanced approach.
Okay.
And I believe Mayor Campsall also was talking about the need for balancing those needs.
How long is this fight going to go on? We've got a federal review panel hitting the road now for hearings on the project. How long will it take before the federal government makes a decision on this proposal?
Well, the panel process ends on August 23rd, and then it will probably take a few months. Last time we waited quite a long time. I'm assuming by the end of the year they will make their decision. It's, of course, a cabinet decision. The panel has been stripped of its power to make recommendations, so they will just have scientific findings, and then it will be up to the cabinet.
Okay, we're going to watch it with interest. Anna, thank you for coming on with your perspective on it.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it a lot. That is Anna Simeon, who's the Acting Communications Director at the Sierra Club of BC. Phone me on the listener line and tell me what you think of this project.